Our next guests are turning heads in the hip-hop world, and tonight they're making their TV debut with us, performing the song Sandwiches with a little help from the Roots. Please welcome Tyler, the Creator, and Haji Beats from Odd Future!
Who are you?
Morgan Freeman's son.
Tyler, the Creator.
Yes.
Tyler Gregory Acoma was born March 6, 1991 in Ladera Heights, Los Angeles, into a single-parent household without his father, with him and his sister being raised by their mother in Hawthorne. Tyler fell in love with music at the age of 7, creating imaginary album covers and tracks long before he would learn to play any instrument, and would shape his passionate character for music. While transferring from and attending 12 different schools, Tyler alternated between skating and learning how to play the piano, and was denied from all extracurricular activities he tried to join for his lack of expertise and maturity.
Like 7th grade, I got in a fight with some guy because he said, "You don't belong on the basketball court," which he was right. I'm trash. 8th grade, I tried out for drama club. I got in and got kicked out within an hour because she said I was too hyper. I was standing on chairs, definitely, but I still think that I should have stayed in there. 9th grade, they wouldn't let me join band class because I couldn't read music, but I still had the passion.
He went on to work at FedEx for under 2 weeks and at a Starbucks for over 2 years, but found these jobs monotonous and preferred his rebellious lifestyle at the skate park or filming videos.
That was the worst
She probably thought you were
place
crazy
ever. Like, I have nightmares about, like, just being in there. They're just okay with pushing a box, and I'm like, I couldn't do it. So I remember I went to the manager dude or whatever, the shift dude, and I was like, "Hey, I've been here for about 2 weeks and 4 days. The checks are cool, but this is not for me." And he said, "I know." He said, you're not supposed to be here." And I quit.
Save all your lettuce and drive your tomatoes. Haji Beats with heat, looking for a large payroll.
Not dimes, nickels, pennies, pesos. I'm trying to stack chips, nigga, peeling my potatoes.
Tyler would upload performances with Left Brain, Haji Beats, and Casey Veggies, where they would perform some of Odd Future's earliest songs, becoming the catalyst for Odd Future, aka Odd Future Wolfgang Kill Them All's inception, a collective of alternative musicians, actors, designers, photographers, and skaters. Co-founded by Tyler in 2007 alongside fellow MySpace friends Haji Beats, Jasper Dolphin, Casey Veggies, Matt Martins, Left Brain, and Pyramid. After putting on Sid the Kid and Taco, the group moved in together in a small LA house and began to record songs, which they would compile into their first mixtape of all their best works, releasing in November 2008, becoming known as the first volume of the Odd Future mixtape.
And I present to you all, the Odd Future compilation. The fuck? Give it up.
Will y'all shut the fuck up?
The album was DIY to the core, recorded using anything they had, with gritty production and sound, but it was a start for a young group on the come up. With this newfound success, they had to recruit more members, so in 2009, they brought on Frank Ocean, Domo Genesis, Earl Sweatshirt, and Mike G. Tyler and fellow Odd Future members came to understand the importance of creating a brand and image, and would don the Odd Future logo, as well as growing a cult following on MySpace and Tumblr, setting up pop-up shops that took hypebeast, hip-hop, and skate culture by storm almost instantaneously, and reviving streetwear as we know it. Odd Future was still trying to set up the groundwork and trying to find their footing for what the group would become, and were their edgiest at this time.
Odd Future is only the second band ever to be banned from playing the Big Day Out. The act was pulled after a letter was sent to Big Day Out organisers claiming the band was homophobic. But Odd Future has come to New Zealand anyway to play its own show outside of the festival.
They're in New Zealand for the first time and they're selling Big Gay Out t-shirts with 2 cats on the front.
Okay, now what about your lyrics?
What about them?
What are you saying in your lyrics?
Nothing. Shit to piss old white people off like you.
Is that right?
Our lyrics aren't offensive.
Aren't they?
No.
Some people find them offensive, don't they? You've
Yeah,
heard that
some
before.
people find everything offensive. Okay.
These themes can best be illustrated on Tyler's debut mixtape, Bastard, self-produced and overly gritty with vulgar instruments and lyrics touching on homophobia, Satanism, racism, and rape used in such a way to gather reactions from anyone who would listen. Bastard would be seen as the first instance of Tyler using his albums as a storyline, such as seen on Igor or Wolf. The album centered around Tyler's therapy sessions with the fictional Dr. TC, which allowed Tyler to let out his emotions which he kept hidden until now, touching on such topics as religion and, of course, the absence of his father and becoming a so-called bastard.
Tyler, hi, I'm Dr. TC, and I'm guessing that your teacher sent you here to talk because you were misbehaving. It's gonna be 3 sessions, today, tomorrow, and the next day, so just tell me something about yourself. Well, look, if you don't talk, I mean, these sessions are gonna go slower, so...
This is what the devil plays before he goes to sleep. Some food for thought, this food for death, go ahead and fucking eat. My father's dead, well I don't know, we'll never fucking meet. I cut my wrists and play piano cause I'm so depressed. Somebody called a pastor, this bastard is so possessed. This meeting just begun, nigga, I'm Satan's son.
The album has an even more DIY feel than Odd Future's debut, giving it a unique sound never heard before, most noticeably found in the homemade instrumentals, many being from GarageBand and FL Studios, as well as showing off a slew of subtle references. But this was just the tip of the iceberg, with Tyler's biggest and most controversial pieces yet releasing on February 14th of 2011 to millions of people.
With a fucking triceratops.
Yonkers would become Tyler's first breakout. The self-directed video had him filmed alone in a white void, taking a bite out of a cockroach, proceeding to projectile vomit everywhere, just before hanging himself. Right, that Tyler the Creator. His lyrics were very anti-establishment, in which he dissed many popular artists and detailed how he would brutally murder them.
Wolf Haley robbing them. I'll crash that fucking airplane at that faggot nigga Bob is in and stab Bruno Mars in his goddamn esophagus and won't stop until the cops come in.
Alongside other vulgar and profane metaphors.
I'm an overachiever, so how about I start a team of leaders and pick up Stevie Wonder to be the wide receiver. Green paper, gold teeth, and pregnant gold retrievers. All I want, fuck money, diamonds, and bitches don't need them.
Tyler would go on to win the Best New Artist at the 2011 MTV Video Music Awards, specifically due to Yonkers. And only a few days after its drop, Tyler would make his TV debut on The Fallon Show alongside Haji, with a performance that they weren't forgetting. This would catch the eye of XO Records and would sign to them for a 1-album deal, setting the stage for Goblin.
Random disclaimer. Hey, don't do anything that I say in this song, okay? It's fucking fiction. If anything happens, don't fucking blame me. White America. Fuck Bill O'Reilly. 4, 3, 2, 1.
Goblin was even more troublesome and edgier than its predecessor. This album is riddled with homophobia, murder, rape, and misogyny, with some of his most raw and crass work yet.
Kill people, burn shit, fuck school. Kill people, burn shit, fuck school. Fucking radical, nigga. Fucking radical. Fucking radical. I'm motherfucking.
Tyler again uses his alter ego Wolf Haley to represent the darkest parts of his mind, and is used in a clever way to give a window into his emotions without sacrificing the sillier side of the project. The album also keeps the same off-the-walls rebellious nature that is seen on Bastard, but cranks it up to 10, which Tyler received lots of backlash from his use of homophobic rhetoric, but after the release of Igor and Flower Boy, Goblin comes off as a closeted teen too afraid to come to terms with who he is and is caught up in self-hatred. Goblin would become a critical success, reaching top 5 on the Billboard, and the collective joined back to release the second Odd Future tape, as well as starting the Odd Future record label, and one reached out by Dick House Studios began on their own TV show on Adult Swim called The Loiter Squad, which aired for 3 seasons over 2 years, showing off the group performing skits and pranks akin to Jackass alongside many other notable funny men. This would prove Tyler to be more than just a musician and give him a personality that many could be drawn to, which can be seen over the 2 years since Goblin's release. Tyler had matured, proving he had a more complex character than that of which he played for years, which would be seen perfectly in his music. Wolf is a sudden change from Tyler's usual gritty, vulgar, over-the-top production to a more appreciative, melodic, and clean-sounding album, mostly because it wasn't recorded on his laptop and utilized an actual recording studio. The album is centered around Tyler's previous alter ego and a love triangle between the antagonist Sam and a girl named Salem while they are attending the fictional Camp Flog Gnaw. This would also cement Tyler as more than just a normal rapper, but as a storyteller, which can best be noticed in his ads that he wrote and directed for Mountain Dew.
So what was racist about it?
What was racist about it?
According
to him.
So one of the scenes where the goat attacked someone at a rest, it was a story. It was a story arc commercial. I did 4 commercials. It was a story arc. First commercial, the goat has Mountain Dew and he likes it so much he goes crazy. He pushes the lady on the ground and runs out because it's so good. The second commercial was the lady at the police station looking at a lineup of people saying that was the goat that pushed me in the restaurant, right? Now, in the lineup, I used a bunch of my friends. They happen to be African American, right? I used Left Brain.
Oh, that's interesting.
I used my boy Garrett from Trash Talk. Yeah. I used my boy Errol, who's been on Loiter Squad, who's been my friend for a while. And I use Lionel, the guy that's standing right here. None of these guys have records. These are all good dudes who I've been working with.
Who are playing a part. You put your friends
playing as characters, and they were.
And then there was a goat also.
And there was a goat also. Now, me being a director, no different from how Wes Anderson or Quentin Tarantino, you use a lot of the same people in a lot of your work. I've used Errol and Lionel
continuity
in a lot of my work. Right. So they were there playing different characters in some work that I've done for Mountain Dew. Boyce Watkins saw that and said, "This is the most racist commercial ever. How could you have black people on as criminals on here?" And then people start picking up this story saying, "Is this the most racist commercial ever?" It got big. The Mountain Dew guys are seeing this like, whoa, we don't want to have this heat on us. Hey, we're sorry that we even put this commercial out, blah, blah, blah. No more Tyler. Cut. I was like, what the fuck did this just turn into? I did some commercials with Mountain Dew, and that was the main character, and I just ran with it.
A commercial product hired you to represent that?
Yeah, and they were sick, and then someone that named Boyce Watkins decided to see that and saw some negative stuff in it, decided to write an article, and then simple-minded people who can't think for themselves decided to all agree with it, and then Mountain Dew didn't want any bad light on them, so instead of backing me up or, standing up for me, knowing that it was no type of negative light, they decided to back out and just let me be and be there alone, which it worked out for the best. I'm so grateful that happened.
Tyler's vulgar persona took a backseat and began to hone in on his musical talent with better lyrics, instrumentals, vocals, and especially the composition, as well as drawing from different inspirations such as Stevie Wonder and Tame Impala, as well as making things that both him and his fans would enjoy, such as his new clothing company, Golf. Another theme on Wolf is the continuation of the talk of his complicated relationship with his father.
I think if I had a dad, I would have went the normal college route and like a lot of other people.
So you're not angry?
I'm so stoked my life panned out how it was. I just decided to rap about it to seem like I'm sad. But
Would you like to be with him? Would you like to meet him?
I mean, one day, I guess. I don't really think
I mean, he
about
must
it.
know all about you.
Yeah, I don't really care. Like, I'm fine. Hey, Dad, it's me. I'm Tyler. I think I be your son. Sorry, I called you the wrong name. See, my brain splitting. Dad isn't your name. See, faggot's a little more fitting. Mom was only 20 when you ain't have any fucks to spare. You Nigerian fuck. Now I'm stuck with this shitty facial hair. Also stuck with a beautiful home with a case of stairs. See you not being there. Fucking fire started my damn career.
Wolf sits in a weird realm between the roughness of Goblin and the mellow vocals on Tyler's 2017 Flower Boy, with songs like Tamales and Domo 23 calling back to Tyler's Odd Future days, but there are also tracks that consist of a more laid-back vibe, such as Awkward and IFHY. But before we got to see this side of Tyler at full force, he had something else in mind.
God, goodness gracious, I can't wait to see the look on y'all niggas' faces. That boy T not surprised his thoughts isn't chafing and fucking brackets up at Mountain Dew. Niggas is racist. Cabbage was made, critic faggots was shook, so I told him that I'll exchange the word faggot with book. And all them books is pissed off and that they page in a bunch. Fucking attitude switches like a book with a strut.
Cherry Bomb was experimental and innovation to the bone, with many avant-garde tracks and sounds to switch up Tyler's discography. Tyler made it clear that he drew from the experimental sounds of Death Grips, which can be seen in the chaotic instrumentals of the album, and even down to the album covers themselves, as well as taking heavy inspiration from Nerd. This was Tyler at his rawest, getting rid of everything that made him who he was, and set out to make something and didn't care much of the outcome, even if it meant throwing away his commercial appeal for more unique sounds that he desperately wanted to make. Upon release, Cherry Bomb was panned by both critics and fans alike,
feeling a strong 3 to a light 4 on this album,
with many hip-hop fans not expecting its punk rock type of rap seen nowhere else at the time.
Because everyone hated it, except for like real music lover who cares about drums. Like I opened a rap album with a rock song.
Yeah.
Most niggas is like, ugh. And then Buffalo comes, you could barely hear what I'm saying. Then Pilot come and it's this 80s music, so they're out because they want rap. Then Run comes, doom, doom, they don't know. And then Find Your Wings come and it's like, okay, this is chill. Then Cherry Bomb just punches them. So they're out and a lot of people didn't know how to take it.
Even through all of this, Cherry Bomb became Tyler's favorite work, but continues to divide fans with its controversial sound that brings together a multitude of genres and artists that were some of his biggest inspirations, and in turn, Tyler became their inspirations.
First of all, Tyler changed the game. Maybe I probably had a line that I knew I wouldn't say because people might think it was too gross to put in the rap. It didn't go with the vibe of the song, but I think about, man, Tyler say this shit. Also, he really be spitting, though. If niggas not listening to him and only hearing him, they need to do the other. They need to listen. Because, hearing and listening is two different things.
Push you, like, nigga, work with your hands. Like, it keeps you earnest. It's like, you see the lines on your record in my hands right here.
Yeah, when you
showed
me that, I was just like, oh,
but I'm glad you put that battery in my back, man. When you said that line, man, I was like, but that's one of your jobs in hip hop. I don't think it would have been a Yeezus if it wasn't for you. I don't think it would have been like this verse right here if it wasn't for you. It's like, or the shit that Wayne just did. Because it's certain niggas that push you different directions, like,
work hard. Be somebody. And be something more than what you see in the mirror. Let the world be your mirror. Don't let them judge you, because the mirror can't judge you. You judge what you see.
Tyler also started an unlikely friendship with A$AP Rocky, and they planned to do a joint tour after the release of Cherry Bomb just before he got banned from the UK, Australia, and New Zealand. This made little sense to Tyler as he hadn't used or even discussed his questionable lyrics in over 4 years, and would make even less sense in the context of his next album. If Cherry Bomb wasn't enough of a shifting character, then Flower Boy was sure to throw you for a loop. Tyler's fourth studio album, alternately titled Scumfuck Flower Boy, would debut at number 2 on the Billboard's Top 200 in the summer of 2017. Flower Boy is the most emotionally personal we had ever seen of Tyler, an introspective journey into his vulnerable headspace and continuing conversations off his first 3 projects.
How many cars can I buy till I run out of drive? How much drive can I have until I run out of road? How much road can they pave until I run out of land? How much land can it be until I run in the ocean? Niggas go with the motions and all the plans. See, I was never into the beaches and all the sands. See, I was in the woods with flowers, rainbows and posies falling out of my pocket. But y'all wanna know if I swam to cool down. How much cooler can I get until I run out of fans? How many fans can I have until they turn on the AC? If the AC blow, well then I'm TNT, I'm gone.
Tyler's previous lyrics had long been accused of homophobia, but on Flower Boy he opens up about his sexuality and femininity. But this wasn't the first time he had hinted on coming out, but it was the first time that he outright stated it on an album.
Hey yo. Goblin shit for the Goblin. That is why I was hiding. That was real love I was in. Ain't no reason to pretend. Goblin shit for the God songs and feelings that I was Goblin. Heavy on my mind, all my friends lost. They couldn't read the signs. I didn't want to talk, but tell them my location and they ain't want to walk. Truth is, since a youth kid, thought it was a phase, thought it'd be like the phrase poof, gone, but it's still going on. Me and Flex looking in the index for buff net niggas just for some hot butt sex.
What made you go with that verse?
I don't.
Some tracks off Flower Boy will become the most intimate and open we'll ever see of Tyler, brushing up on such topics as fake relationships, depression, isolation, and overdependence, and set a new precedent for Tyler's up-and-coming projects, like being asked by Illumination to produce the soundtrack for the 2018 Grinch remake. Many fans waited patiently for any news of Tyler's next album. It would be greeted on May 9th with many cryptic YouTube videos with Tyler wearing a blonde wig. Tyler's one request for his 5th studio album was to give it your full attention. No skips, no jumps, no shuffling, or you would miss out on the 3-act love story, akin to a musical.
Sometimes you gotta close the door to open a window.
Igor is a love triangle between Tyler and a boy who is seeing both Tyler and a girl at the same time, leaving him confused and longing for a man who can't commit to their relationship. The first track, Igor's Theme, starts off on a 20-second long synth note that sets up Igor as a musical loop, and the ending notes transition flawlessly into the album's magnum opus, Earthquake. Earthquake is one of Tyler's greatest songs, with bombastic instrumentals and bass which can be attributed to its masterful composition.
For real this time. For real this time. Make my earthquake. Oh, make my earthquake.
As well as its many geniusly written lyrics. Tyler finds himself falling head over heels for this man that just rocked his world much like an earthquake, and is tired of hiding and running from who he really is, and is ready to find true love, but is running out of time before he chooses his girlfriend over Tyler.
Exactly what you run from, you end up chasing.
In the second act of the story, he is needing to take matters into his own hands, and is forced to beg him to stay, but will have to kill his girlfriend with his new magic wand, a metaphor for a gun, and if he can't choose between them, he'll have to kill them both. After growing tired of being shot down and strung along by his lover, he finally lets go and tells him goodbye and thank you, knowing it's the mature thing to do. But Tyler finds himself diminished into merely a sidekick and a friend in the eyes of the man he once loved, becoming the embodiment of Frankenstein's Igor, and wants to pick up any pieces that he can salvage from the relationship, as seen on the final track, Are We Still Friends?
Are we still friends? Can we be friends? Are we still friends?
Many could tell this was Tyler's best work yet, with his best composition that can be heard throughout and the amazing references and subtle lyrics that you could miss in the blink of an eye. Igor was critically acclaimed, reaching #1 on the Billboard and winning the 2019 Grammy for the Best Rap Album, even though it wasn't really a rap album. With its dreamy 80s-like pop and house instrumentals and very few lyrics, it's hard for many to tack down Igor as no more than a rap album, which also frustrated Tyler.
On one side, I'm very grateful that what I made could just be, acknowledged in a world like this. But also, it sucks that whenever we, and I mean guys that look like me, do anything that's genre bending or that's anything, they always put it in a rap or urban category, which is, and I don't like that urban word. It's just a politically correct way to say the N-word to me. So when I hear that, I'm just like, why can't we just be in pop? Why can't it just, you know what I mean? So I felt like half of me feels like the rap nomination was a backhanded compliment. Like, oh, my little cousin wants to play the game. Let's give him the unplugged controller so he could shut up and feel good about it. That's what it felt like a bit. But another half of me is very grateful that the art that I made could be acknowledged on a level like this when I don't do the radio stuff. I'm not played in Target. I'm in a whole different world than what a lot of people here listen to. So I'm grateful and
With his first Grammy under his belt and clearly his best album yet, many were curious where Tyler could go from here, but we would soon find out.
Darling, darling, darling.
Up into 2021, Tyler continued to release singles with Best Interest, a scrap song off Igor, becoming one of my favorite songs of his. In early June, Tyler would place advertisements adored with a phone number, and when called, it played his mom telling various childhood stories of Tyler.
His daddy fine, I'm fine. What you thought? Shit, his daddy fine. No, his mama fine, bitch, what you mean? He got his looks for me. You better tell this hoe. This my nigga though. My ride or die, I kill a motherfucker over this one right here, nigga. I stand in front of a bullet, oh God, over this one. My son used to record me beating bitch's ass. Facts. I didn't give a fuck. I bossed up on teachers, principals, mamas, kids. I didn't give a fuck. Am I lying?
You have no reason to.
No. You fuck with my kids, I'll beat up kids over my kids. Okay? This little boy used to run. He was scared. I said, go get your bitch ass mama.
Bitch, I used to say that to Ashley's friends.
I would beat your whole family and didn't give a fuck. It's like Tyler mama crazy. Tyler mama crazy, yup. Fuck with my kids. Tyler would be like, get him, mom, baby. Like, no, don't do it. Tyler would be like, get him, mom, get him. No, mom, don't do it. I'd be like, shut your ass up.
The plan was to sled in Bryan Head, Utah, chase him dead, drop vanilla and cocoa, stumping in the powder that's reflecting on my porcelain skin. I decided to drive my concrete boat, floating, Kelly Green. That 9-hour push was spacious.
A few days later, the album's lead single, Lumberjack, was dropped, as well as the release of the album cover, directly inspired by Old Dirty Bastard's Return to the 36 Chambers. When the album dropped, it yet again jumped to #1 on the Billboard, and earned him his second Grammy earlier this year. Call Me If You Get Lost keeps the same jazzy pop feel off Igor, but has more rap themes, either being in the lyrics or in the features like NBA Youngboy and Lil Wayne, as well as an overall more joyful sound and vibe that it gives off, which I would describe as a beach, yacht, country club, or even travel vibe, and is best seen in the quick interludes at the beginning of many of the tracks.
Destination, remote. But I've been everywhere. Only thing we ain't traveled is time.
The plan was to stick my toe in and check the temperature, but next thing I know, I'm drowning.
Ladies and gentlemen, we just landed in Geneva. Yeah, that's in Switzerland. We're on the yacht. A young lady just fed me French vanilla ice cream. We all got our toes out too. Call me when you get lost.
Call Me If You Get Lost is one of Tyler's best produced works, with some of his most intelligent samples, and is the best lyrically and musically mature, being able to walk the thin line between trendy and risky. The instrumentals on this album are better than his older projects, as he doesn't rely heavily on using his voice as an instrument. This is Tyler's most personal album, touching on the topics of his past music, his fame, wealth, family, and ego. Tyler also keeps the same theme of love, which can be seen on multiple tracks, and will most likely become recurring in the rest of his work for the foreseeable future.
Oh, you look malnourished. Let's get some bread, fried an egg, yolk, and drown it in syrup. You pick a spot, I pick a tail number, and we could be tourists. Let's go to Cannes and watch a couple indie movies that you never heard of. Listen to bands, groove when we dance, disco in France, smell some perfume, head in the wind. We can switch off, I can show you how you can really exfoliate skin. If you got a man, you should cut it off. Get your passport, cause we run it off. We can sit and talk, you can tell me everything that's on your chest, baby, get it off. You are my type, you a bright light, and I'm like a moth, this is not a game. But before we start, what's your name, girlfriend, what's your name?
Okay.
Tyler has evolved in such a way that many artists in his space haven't come close to, while he continued to be humble and true to himself. Tyler went against the conventional industry and refused to sell out, fighting labels and artists that use his creativity for monetary gain, as well as the critics that almost took down his entire career. Despite being an outcast in hip-hop, he continued to move across the musical landscape while keeping true to his morals and matured not just sonically, but also internally by pushing rap to shift, becoming more accepting and expressing his sexuality that he kept hidden for so long, and is now opening the door for other LGBTQ artists. No matter how commercially successful he becomes, he will always stay true to himself and has taught us to go against the norm, not caring what others think of us, and to not be afraid to chase our dreams.
I made a bet with will.i.am for $1 million that I will be making money 10 years from now doing what I love and not what makes the most, Tyler tweeted in 2013. He said, then make a decision on what to do to survive. No, that's not how it is for everyone. I'm not gonna make music I hate. In 10 years, he'll be 50 and I'll be 32 making movies, not even in them. Watch. Unwavering in the pursuit of his own vision, Tyler's original 2011 deal saw him form Odd Future Records with Sony Records, which allowed them to keep 100% creative control of all aspects of their music, art, and release schedule with no third-party participation.
I just wish niggas would really chase their dreams and stop worrying about others' opinions and the thought of fame. Just go.
What makes